Hello, Sammy here with our tarot astrology reading tonight, and it is Monday, October 20 something, 5th, 6th, 26th. Let me know in the comments. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight, and we'll start by doing a few deep breaths, and then we will listen to the sound bowl and do some meditation on the sacred sound of Om, which brings together everything into oneness in the universe. Welcome. Hi. So glad you're here. And after that, I'll talk about what's happening in the stars today and tomorrow. And then we will, if you're good, pull 3 cards. And it's good to be back. I've been doing the whole Sunday sabbatical thing with my love. We've been spending the day just resting and not really going on any sort of platforms, except for platform shoes, because we're practicing some disco dances. That may or may not be true. But it's good to be back, and let me know if it was helpful to have that extra in-depth video on Saturday. So let's get comfortable, and we'll take 3 deep breaths in and out, and then chant Om with the bowl. So refreshing. Thanks for joining me in that. Speaking of refreshing, tomorrow is going to be very refreshing, because tomorrow, well, first let me tell you about today, and then I'll tell you about tomorrow. Well, the upcoming day, so what's happening if you're watching this now on Monday night or earlier on Tuesday, we still have our moon in Pisces, where she will be through tomorrow night. And then basically we have the sun and Mercury are together in Scorpio, and they're currently opposite Uranus and Taurus. And both of those being opposite Uranus, Uranus is a planet of being very brilliant and unique and individual and creative and a little bit different. And then the sun is kind of just like who we are, our identity, and Mercury is how we communicate. And the fact that they're opposite can bring about, let tensions surface at times. So if you've been feeling anything, any kind of tension around who you are and how you're expressing your unique ideas, I don't know about you, but as somebody who has a lot of different things I'm really excited about creating, every once in a while I find myself needing to go deep and meditate deep and find the love, instead of going into a place of how am I going to do everything, instead of just doing one thing at a time, and remembering the bigger picture. And the bigger picture astrologically right now is that we have the harmonizing trine between Venus and Saturn, and between Venus and Pluto. And Saturn represents our destiny and the results of our actions and our true path, fate. And so having Venus, which is the planet of love, trine Saturn, which she will be trining until, I wrote it down, until a few hours before the full moon on the 31st. It's a reminder that instead of focusing on the tension that could arise between the ways I'm unique and the ways I might have original thoughts, and having any sort of tension with how I'm currently sharing that, we can refocus on, okay, how can love help me to remember the path I'm on, and how that's a marathon, not a race. And also Pluto, which is about transformation and channeling that really intense creative energy, is also trine with Venus. So it's like turning to love, and part of that is being gentle with yourself and letting yourself be loved and supported, and to give love and support. And that is the perfect antidote to any tensions of those oppositions, is the love of the trines that we have right now. And that's going to be important going into tomorrow too, because tomorrow the moon in Pisces is going to be opposite Venus in Virgo for a little while, because then what's going to happen, so the moon opposite Venus, it's interesting because it could go in two directions. It could heighten creative energy because our emotions are going to be sort of even more stirred up by being across from the planet of love. And if that does bring up any sort of faster energy or more intense energy, to remember that Venus is trine Saturn. And so the moon might be temporarily opposite Venus, causing a slight bit of tension, maybe just for a little while. But the trine between Venus and Saturn is saying, okay, your destiny, your love, go look there and remember who you really are and what you're really about, and sort of like the preciousness of life, because the moon takes less than 30 days to spin around, but Saturn takes 30 years. And so Saturn reminds us of, look at how far you've come in the last 30 years, and think about what the next 30 years might bring. And you've probably come pretty far, and you probably have a lot further to go, knock on wood. So there's that. And then another thing I said is happening tomorrow, the reason that tomorrow is going to be refreshing. So Mercury has been retrograde. Mercury moved into Scorpio out of Libra a while back. And now Mercury tomorrow will be going back into Libra from Scorpio. So that means our way of communicating after a period of time. When did Mercury move into, let me see, I think I wrote it down. But anyway, Mercury has been in Scorpio recently, past week or a couple weeks, and it will be moving into Libra tomorrow. So that's shifting our way of communicating from a more maybe intense and emotional sort of framework into something that's a little more lighthearted and not quite as sensitive, a little more intellectual and thoughtful, and maybe playful, and all about balance again. So we're shifting from transformation and emotional sensitivity back into a bit of lightness and airiness and balancing. And then at the same time, Venus, which has been in Virgo, which is a mutable sign, and Virgo is also very kind of like a sensitive instrument, even though it's an earth sign, will be moving into Libra at the same time. So Venus and Mercury, Venus has been moving this way and Mercury's moving this way, and tomorrow they both meet up in Libra. So tomorrow we get to shift from Venus in Virgo, which has been a really great, I think, very illuminating, grounding time, and learning to love in a very practical and very sensual and in a different way, into loving in the Libra way, which is about balance and beauty and flirtatiousness. So we get two planets moving into the lightness of Libra tomorrow, and the airiness of Libra, and the balancing of Libra, and the justice and fairness, and all of that. So it's a really good time. We're going to have Venus in Libra and Mercury in Libra, and that should be, I think, a very nice shift that we can all enjoy together. So now I'm going to pull 3 cards. Welcome. You got here just in time for the tarot reading. We just talked about what's happening in the sky, and now we're going to pull 3 cards together. So now is a really good time to take a couple of deep breaths and think about how you're doing, what's going on, if there's anything that you would like some support around, to just have that in your awareness, or just sit back and enjoy and see what the cards have to tell us for tonight. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck. And of course, we are about 5 days or so from the full moon in Scorpio on the 31st, and it's a blue moon. And blue moon is when there are 2 full moons in 1 month. It's very unusual, and that is happening because we had one at the beginning of October, then we had our new moon on the 16th, and now we have another full moon. So it could be a feeling of building, of rising, of a build-up, that on the 31st we get to feel a release and a sense of letting go and relaxing and everything kind of melting away and refreshing. So if you're feeling any of that sort of build-up, that's very normal and natural. Okay, let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Our first card tonight. The Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is on a gorgeous throne in the middle of lush woods, a golden sky. It's a card of fertility because there's this bunny rabbit here, which has always been a symbol of fertility. And then there's also these ripe red juicy fruits and flowers surrounding her. There is a goat, which has to do with just the earth and tenaciousness and sensuality. And she's sitting here in her golden crown with the pentacles. So it's a promise of abundance, of fertility, of creativity, of groundedness. And I think it's a good reminder of everything we've been through recently in the past month. It's been approximately a month or so. I've got to check that. Venus has been in Virgo, and this is kind of like Venus in Virgo, but also we have those 3 planets in Capricorn, including the ones that are trine Venus. So Saturn and Pluto trine Venus in Virgo. That's a lot of love and abundance energy and earth signs that we still have up until the 31st, because we have the trine between Pluto and Venus up until the 28th, and then the trine with Saturn and Venus up until the 31st. So there's still plenty of abundance and love energy coming through this week from the stars for you to tap into. And and if any tension comes up from those oppositions, just remember who you really are and what you're doing it for and what is possible, and focus on that beautiful picture. Okay, card number 2. Ooh, okay, friends, look at this. Just when you thought you couldn't get enough of a beautiful, strong, peaceful woman in an abundant nature setting, you get the 9 of Pentacles here. So just like the Queen of Pentacles, I don't know, do you think they're a couple? They kind of look like they'd be really happy together. They're both in this golden sky, lush, fruity garden. The 9 of Pentacles lady here, she's got a bird on her arm. So she's like a hawk person. She can work with the hawks, and they're her friend, and communicating with nature, with the part of her that can fly. So this is also a nice card of transition between Venus and Virgo to Venus and Libra, because this bird represents the freedom and the flight and the airiness. She's got this garden full of golden pentacles that are just bursting to life out of her, I was going to say bushes and trees, because that's what it is. And there's a house in the background, her home. So there's a lot of grounded, abundant, motherly, mother earthy energy here. And there's 9 pentacles here, and there's 1 here, and that adds up to 10, and that is the maximum number of pentacles. That is just flowing, bursting abundance and fertility and life happening here. And I kind of like the way their heads are inclined towards each other. So let's see what our third card is for tonight. Okay, the Page of Wands. So here we have this fiery energy. The Page of Wands is somebody who has some experience with using the magic of the wand energy with action and fire, but still has a ways to go, but is clearly they're reverent, they understand the power and the sacredness of the element that they are learning to master, and that is the element of fire and action and intense activity and creativity. So I think it's a few different things. It could be a message of remembering that as you work with a fiery energy and an energy of creativity, to approach it with respectfulness, and to keep on learning what it's like because we are moving Mercury and Venus into Libra, which is about balance. So finding the balance between using this wand to create and all of that fire, and then also stepping back to look at it and look at how am I using that intense, creative, fiery energy in my life, and learning to work with it in a balanced way with the other elements, in an earthy way. Also, it's kind of like this youthful, childlike kind of person, and I think they kind of look like a cute little family here. I don't know about you guys. Do you see that? We do have Mars in Aries still, so that could be an element of the action that goes along with this kind of abundance happening too. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on this. But I think this spread, especially because I always like to look at the body language of the order of the cards, and this feels like a really tight-knit and beautiful grouping here, because the cards on the end are both kind of tilting their heads in towards the card in the middle. So it feels like there's this cohesiveness and this closeness and this knitting together of energies of creativity and abundance. And I think as we lead up to the full moon later this week, it's an opportunity to draw in all those parts of ourselves that support each other and balance each other, and to just love ourselves and love each other, and and to get ready for a beautiful, fresh start on the 31st, on Halloween. Let's take a few deep breaths together. And as always, you can DM me with any questions, or to set up a more individualized reading, or to learn about your birth chart and how you might be affected by what's going on up there. So let us breathe. Have a beautiful and blessed night. Be gentle and easy with yourself. Feel the love that you can give and the love that you can receive and the love that connects you with the entire universe and with your greater purpose in life, to keep everything in perspective. And be blessed and enjoy. Until tomorrow.